King Laval has got into quite a lot of trouble for voicing his own opinion and for selectively quoting the Bible. Now, he's a councillor, or was a councillor, in Northamptonshire, just down the road from where I live now. And he makes the rather entertaining comment that pride is not a virtue but a sin. Absolutely, it's one of the 7 deadly sins. And he also points out that he refers to Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9, which says that whatever God calls sin is nothing to be proud of. Now, the problem with quoting bits of the so-called Old Testament selectively is that's exactly what it is. It's selective quotations, and certain people are very keen to quote Leviticus 18:22, Leviticus 20:13, and not to recognize all the other 613 mitzvah commandments for God's people to follow. Now, of course, for the Christian country that the UK has become, surely what we should be looking at is Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free. There is neither male nor female, and we're all one in Christ Jesus. And, even Matthew 19:8 tells us that Christianity advances beyond the law. And I think Galatians 3:28 makes that very clear. But let's just go back to all these references, because Isaiah is one of them. Of course, we shouldn't be proud about a sin, but is being gay a sin? There's a whole video that I've dedicated to it. 3 videos, in fact, that I've dedicated to it, and Bay is chomping at the bit and wants to feature in this. Come on, up you come. I know it's very important to you. Anyway, there are 613 commands identified by Maimonides in the Hebrew scriptures. But Christianity doesn't follow most of those. And Colossians 2:13 says Christ is the end of the law. And there's a new covenant, Hebrews 8:13. And if we're going to follow all the things in, for example, Leviticus chapter 18, then we should equally be making sure that we haven't got mixed fabrics. Because mixing fabrics was part of the ceremonial law that was that was prohibited. Leviticus 18:19, for example, Isaiah 1:13, Deuteronomy 14:3 about shellfish, and even the death penalty. Even the death penalty is expected to be enacted on people who are working on the Sabbath. Exodus 35:2. Not charging interest on loans. That would really put pay to Coots, wouldn't it? Ezekiel 18:13. And I think if you're going to be very selective about your biblical quotations, then you ought to be then it has no purpose. And so on the one hand, of course, I entirely agree that somebody should have the freedom to say really what he thinks, but at the expense of, well, you don't do it at the expense of offending somebody else. So I think during Pride Week to talk disparagingly about pride from some sort of superior position is inappropriate to a councillor. It's not the place of a councillor to be Bible thumping, though I think there is a role for religious purpose in the political debate. I think there's a role for the political debate to be informed by ethics, but underlying so much of the Christian message is a desire for kindness, for, in Hebrew, chesed, for what I think in the New Testament is often represented by the word we translate as charity, and grace and a good spirit. What the wonderful Israeli comic Modi calls Mashiach energy, the energy of the new age, the energy of kindness and trying to accommodate people of different beliefs, of different traditions, in the same country, in the same society. We are all of equal status under this law as under God's law. And so I think arresting a Conservative councillor for tweeting something is an overreaction, and I think also a waste of police time. But at the same time, tweeting it in the first place is a foolishness, and he should be discouraged from this sort of thing. But wasting so much time on this when there are so many other things the police could be doing, and when the police are complaining they don't have enough resources, this is madness. Utter madness.